We are finally going to have all the Scream movies on 4K. Let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. We have some really exciting updates to get into today, but please make sure to like this video and subscribe first. It really helps out the page quite a bit. Also, please consider supporting the page on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member to see the Dexter reaction videos early or see the uncut versions over on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who supports the page. Now let's get into this. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about They Follow, the sequel to It Follows directed by David Robert Mitchell. A big question that came up yesterday is what's the delay with They Follow? Well, it seems like he's been busy doing this other movie with J.J. Abrams called The End of Oak Street, which just got a trailer a couple days ago. I think this project makes the They Follow wait worth it. The film stars Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, and it drops on August 14th via Warner Bros. Oak Street has been described as after a mysterious cosmic event rips Oak Street from suburbia and transports their neighborhood to someplace unknown, the Platt family soon discovers that their very survival depends on them sticking together as they navigate their now unrecognizable surroundings. So, a few things about this movie. It's coming from a great director. David Robert Mitchell has made a couple of really good flicks, including It Follows and Under the Silver Lake. Really love those two. In the trailer itself, we started off with a ticking clock, which tells me this is some sort of accidental time travel thing that has transported this entire neighborhood back in time to the Cretaceous period. Or maybe the Jurassic period, where there's a park nearby, perhaps. Anyways, this is a sci-fi horror dinosaur movie, and my god, we need more of those. So The End of Oak Street is a very, very welcome release here in 2026. Bring this on. One other thing I'll note about this is that a lot of fans think that this could be a secret Cloverfield movie. Now, of course, the rights for that are owned by Paramount right now, but because this is coming from Warner Bros., which is about to be acquired by Paramount, maybe there's some sort of collusion there. Personally, I don't think that's going to be the case, sadly, just because the Warner Bros. Thing has kind of been like a bid between Netflix and Paramount for the longest time. Now it seems like Paramount is definitely going to be acquiring them. That kind of just got figured out at the top of this year, though, so I don't think that had any sort of effect on this film. Sadly, I don't think that this is going to be some sort of Cloverfield continuation, but last we heard we are getting some sort of sequel to the original Cloverfield, the found footage one. Hopefully we get that movie sooner than later. Like I said earlier, The End of Oak Street drops on August 14th. Make sure to see this one in IMAX. We got some news on both of the upcoming Mummy movies. Those two projects are, of course, the Radio Silence one that is continuing the part of the franchise that is all about Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, and a big update on The Mummy from Lee Cronin, which comes out in just a couple of weeks here. That's the scary one that you've probably seen the trailer for by now. Getting into the update on the Radio Silence film, THR has just reported that John Hannah will be reprising his role in this upcoming flick. He, of course, played Jonathan Carnahan in the film, the less than trustworthy brother of the librarian, Rachel Weisz's character, a thief who, over the course of the original movies, is always on the make, gaining and losing spoils. He ends each adventure with a little something in his pocket, even as ancient cities and treasures crumble around him and his friends. That movie shoots later on this year in the fall, and I cannot wait to cover more updates on it. Bring on more Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz Mummy! As long as it's better than the third one, I'll be happy with it. And an interesting update we've gotten on the horror version of The Mummy coming up here in just a couple of weeks is that director Lee Cronin actually passed on doing an Evil Dead Rise sequel in order to tackle this more risky project. Talking with Games Radar, Lee Cronin says, "The risk was not making a sequel to my last movie, because that was really easy for me to do. I said no ultimately because I wanted to do something else, and I like to take a risk and gamble. The other risk factor is there's brilliant movies called The Mummy, but they've also been there since the 30s. It's not just about Brendan Fraser 25 years ago, and there's a risk because modern culture probably looks at those movies that way. Maybe the Tom Cruise one wasn't necessarily as well received, although I really enjoyed that film, but for me, the risk was breaking the mold in terms of what people will expect." Cronin also added something interesting at the end here, saying, "It's going to definitely surprise people, but when you make a movie, you have to take a risk, because it might be your last chance to make something, and repeating a trick is a sin to me." Ooh, That's interesting. I can't lie, based on the marketing, my whole interpretation of this movie is that it's basically going to be an Evil Dead film, but with a mummy. So for Lee to come out the gate during this interview and say, I'm not making the same movie twice, essentially, like he literally says repeating a trick is a sin to me, that tells me we're in for something we have no idea what it's even gonna be. I personally am not against an Evil Dead mummy movie. I think that is a lot of fun, really interesting, and kind of like a different sort of theme to it than what all the other Evil Dead movies have sort of gotten into. Whatever this is, and however Lee is going to spin it down a different path, I am so excited for it. There's been a lot of weird press with this movie, rumor that James Wan, the producer of this flick, walked out of an early screening of it. We're also hearing that it's going to be like 2 hours and 17 minutes, which is insane. That is such a long runtime for this movie specifically. All these weird things aside though, I have a lot of weird faith in this movie. I have loved everything that Lee Cronin has attached himself to in the last couple of years, so I cannot wait for this. I personally think it's gonna be good. Lee Cronin's The Mummy comes out on April 17th, but we have to wait until 2028 to see the Brendan Fraser one from Radio Silence. One thing is for certain though, Mummy fans are eating good. It's almost been 10 years since the movie Lights Out came out. Guys, I saw this movie in the theaters. Fans of this weird little gem have been wanting a sequel for such a long time, and now today, we have finally gotten that announcement. THR reports that Warner Bros. Has announced Lights Out 2, and that they've hired up-and-comer Connor Osborne McIntyre to write the screenplay for it. There's no word yet on who's directing or if any of the cast members from the previous film will return. We have heard that David F. Sandberg will produce the flick, making me think he probably won't direct the sequel. The way that this comes off is that they've announced how he's going to be involved, and that's going to be it. I kind of like when you throw new people at a project. That's a risk and a gamble, you know, something that Lee Cronin likes to do. I don't know this name by any means, Connor Osborne Reba McIntyre, but like, I'm just so excited to see what he does with it. Hopefully it totally rocks. I'm so down for more Lights Out. Guys, I still think that the short film David F. Sandberg made is the superior version of all this crazy shit. Love the movie, don't get me wrong, the feature film is awesome, but have you seen the Lights Out short film? I'm very excited to hear more updates on this one. That original movie is still very good and very scary. Andy and Barbara Muschietti are busy, man. They just produced They Will Kill You, a movie that just came out this weekend, and my God, was it good. Review coming soon. But they've also been talking a little bit about doing a supercut of It's Chapter 1 and 2. Talking about this alleged supercut, Andy Muschietti told Slash Film in a new interview, "We didn't have time to do it because we were involved in all kinds of projects. The show had a priority over the supercut. We're in a moment now where we can definitely go to the studio and ask for support, but when is the question. They can say, yeah, go for it. But now we are sort of committed, like happily committed to season 2 of Welcome to Derry. And there's other movie projects going around, but we're going to do it." The Muschiettis have hinted at new footage being spliced into whatever the supercut would end up being, and also just completely changing up the format of the story. Two big things with that. First of all, there's a deleted scene allegedly in existence that they shot for It Chapter 1, where Bill Skarsgård was in like the original form of Pennywise. He's like this evil looking red alien. We've only ever seen like a little screenshot from it. In this scene, Pennywise eats a fucking baby. I will sit through whatever I have to see that scene. Please, Andy and Barbara, splice that in there. Second big thing with that is I wonder if they're going to reformat it to make it feel much more like the book or the 90s miniseries, where it's constantly cutting back and forth between the kids' storyline and what's going on with the adults in like present day. That might be a really fun way to honor what's come before in this franchise. I really hope this thing gets made soon. Hopefully it drops in theaters. Maybe we even get a physical release of it. I just want to see what else they're cooking with it, man. I mean, chapters 1 and 2, those are some really interesting horror flicks and some really good, just a really good reinvention of the King story. So bring it on, Muschiettis. Let me see what you got. We have a whole bunch of little Scream 7 and Scream 8 updates that are very exciting and very fun. Scream 7 is likely going to cross $200 million this upcoming weekend. It literally only needs $5 more million to do so. The film currently sits at $195 million according to Box Office Mojo, and I'm pretty sure it's going to cross the $200 million mark this weekend. Love or hate the film, that's a really exciting statistic. That tells me that horror is thriving. Before we look towards the future of this franchise, talk a little bit about what the heck is going on with Scream 8, I first first want to look back to 2011 with Scream 4, a film that is finally releasing on 4K. Earlier in the week, Lionsgate posted a small little teaser that something revolving around Scream 4 is coming, something specifically in 4K. And now we actually have an image of what the physical release is going to look like. This is just the standard cover, by the way, with like a little slipcase. We don't know if there's going to be a steelbook quite yet. I really hope there is though, because that's the one I'm gunning for, baby. A lot of people are criticizing the poster art for being a floating head thing, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but maybe the steelbook will be cooler. I do really like the camera in the Ghostface mouth though. That's pretty sick. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Scream 7 writer and director Kevin Williamson told HelloSydney.com that he would not be coming back to direct another Scream film. Many fans have been wondering if he was like 100% on that or not, or like what the case is going to be moving forward into Scream 8, which is definitely happening after Scream 7 is about to pull, let me say that again, $200 million fucking dollars at the box office. Kevin has since doubled down with The Ankler in a brand new interview that no, he's probably not going to direct whatever comes next. Williamson recently stated, "This was always going to be one and done. I hope it's not a surprise to anybody. This is the one I was going to do, and Nev Campbell came back for it. This is it, and I'm happy." He does mention, however, that he's only a phone call away, and as long as it stays fun, I would love to be a part of it. If they need my help, I'll come running. That to me is where I think Kevin Williamson is going to be best suited for this franchise, slipping into more of a producer role, kind of guiding like the fresh eyes on this franchise in the right direction. Think about what Sam Raimi does with The Evil Dead. I mean, it's kind of the same setup. I think Kevin Williamson needs to be that guide for like an up-and-comer if they have any questions. Not only do I think he's best suited for that role, but it also seems like Kevin wants to direct some other projects that he's got coming up. He's about to get real busy. He's got another feature that he wants to direct sometime soon, and he's also working on a Universal Monsters TV series, which he also plans on directing some of the episodes for. Scream 7, I feel, was kind of his launch pad to be able to direct. Kind of put his name in the hat, essentially, of directors, not just writers. So who does the next one? No idea. Stay tuned for more updates. Oh boy, that was a lot of fun stuff. What did you guys think about all those updates? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.